Today I'm talking about the Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex after 100 miles. 8.00 miles, 9 minutes, 11 seconds from out, 143 beats per minute today. Trying to take it nice and easy, but the weather made things really difficult to do that. -5 degrees Fahrenheit on the day. Another sub-zero day. We've had way too many sub-zero days here in Chicago. Yes, we normally get some pretty tough winters, but this winter seems to be just sustained levels of cold that is getting to be very fatiguing. Today even I had some problems with my neck gaiter. It just wouldn't stay up. It kind of froze solid and like it just kept slipping down, and so then my face was exposed to the elements. I was out there for an hour and 13 minutes today, and that was pretty much like 13 minutes too long. Basically, once the neck gaiter froze, that's when things just started to get really uncomfortable on the face, and I just felt like my face was getting numb and windburnt from the temperatures, but made it back safely. We got the run done in, and we got to the 100-mile mark in the Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex. Now, before I give you my thoughts on this shoe after the 100 miles, I do want to go over some disclosures. This is a pair of shoes that I bought with my own money. No one sent it to me or is paying me to make this video, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. So, with that disclosure out of the way, let's talk about the Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex after 100 miles. We've got 30 millimeters of stack height in the heel of React foam, and it's all React foam in the midsole. We've got a 10 millimeter drop, giving us 20 millimeters of that React foam in the forefoot. Up top, we've got a Gore Tex upper. That's the main story for this Gore Tex version of the Peg Trail 2. And it's going to help keep all the elements out, keep the water out for sure with that Gore Tex covering. Also helps keep a lot of the wind out, in my opinion, as well, helping keep the feet a little bit warm for these pretty tough winter conditions. Out back, we've got a giant pull tab that you can help to get the shoe on and off. And up front, we've got a little bit of a rubber toe cap to help you in case, depending on where you are, there might be rocks or roots that you have to watch out for. But for me and the way I've been using the shoe, the main thing that I've been having to watch out for is what might be underneath all the snow that I've been running in. Now, I normally don't consider myself like a snow runner. There's people that run in much more snow, much more regularly. But the way this shoe's been getting used for me, it's been seeing a lot of snowy miles. Now, there's no rock plate in this shoe, but I don't really think you need it because there is just so much stack height of that React foam, and also you've got a nice full rubber coverage outsole. The lugs aren't super aggressive, super gnarly, but it does still allow for plenty of grip on a variety of surfaces. I've been enjoying this shoe on paved surfaces, grass, dirt road, and of course on lots of snowy, icy terrain as well. This entire package comes in at a weight for my US men's 9 at 10.9 ounces. So what has it been like to run in the shoe? I've been having such a fun time with the React midsole foam in here is a softer version of the React foam that I really like. It reminds me a lot of the Terra Kiger 5 that I also ran in from Nike, where you're feeling like this is what React is supposed to be. It's springy, it's light, it's absorbing a lot of impact, and I'm just enjoying the feeling underfoot. And the React and the rubber outsole do a great job together of being nice and soft and absorbs lots of impact, especially for more firm surfaces like dirt roads and pavement. The relatively wide platform of this shoe, at least wide for a Nike shoe, provides a lot of stability as you're stepping down on potentially uneven surfaces, and the outsole pattern and the lugs that we have here do a great job of digging in and grabbing into the kinds of trails that I would run on as primarily a road runner. So what most people would probably consider very light, not that technical trails. It's been doing a great job for me, making sure that my footing is sure. Sometimes when I pick up a trail shoe and try to run in it, when I do get onto dirt road or onto pavement, I feel like I'm kind of running on top of soccer cleats, and that's not a really great feeling for me. I'm not loving that. I know lots of people might need that depending on the types of trails that they're running on. But for me, I'm not usually finding a need for that. Those aren't my favorite type of trail shoes just because that's not what I have around me. So the type of rubber that this is still makes it feel very kind of road runnable while also being very trail capable. It's not the best trail shoe, it's not the best road shoe, but it does both of those things really exceptionally well. I think the surface that this is kind of best suited for is probably dirt roads. That's where I feel like I have the most fun with it. That's where I feel like the geometry of the shoe, the materials that they've chosen, just all seem to make the most sense. In Iowa, when we were staying with my in-laws, I saw tons of dirt road miles with the Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex, and I just really loved running with it there. Here, transitioning back to Chicago, I've been seeing either a lot of pavement or a lot of very, very snowy surfaces, and I've still really been enjoying it here. In fact, I got to the 100-mile mark in this shoe a lot faster than I was expecting to, because of the fact that I just keep reaching for it given the conditions that we've had. We've had very cold, very snowy, and some icy conditions here in Chicago, and I feel like the Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex is pretty much the perfect winter running shoe, at least for me and the kinds of conditions that I'm running in. Right now, everything's frozen solid and pretty much snowed over. There are parts of the path that are pretty well plowed and salted, so I'm getting a variety of surfaces. It's either pretty clear or pretty much left to nature to take over. There's that one stretch of the lakefront path where the city just doesn't bother with plowing or salting. And if I do want to run either through that area to get closer to downtown, for example, or if I do want to use that area, that's one of my favorite kind of turnaround spots for my regular routes. If I want to go there, then the Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex is a perfect shoe to be running in. Having the Gore Tex was really nice to be able to continue to run through that. Yes, your foot feels the coldness around you, but you're not wet, you're not getting soaked. So it did a fantastic job of even icy cold water, slushy conditions. So I've been absolutely impressed with the way that the Gore Tex has been handling the elements, and the way that the shoe has just been a very runnable shoe for me, no matter where I've been over the course of this winter. I will say that there's this, faux gator back here that's meant to kind of keep some of the elements out. And for the most part, it works. But when I'm in like deep snow, there's still snow that's kind of getting in there. A lot less is getting in there because this is form-fitting. But, I really wouldn't mind if for the Gore Tex version of this shoe, there's a Peg Trail 2, then there's a Peg Trail 2 Gore Tex. I would have loved to have seen like a mid-top for the Gore Tex version. I know Nike makes mid-top shoes. I know Nike makes mid-top shoes with Gore Tex in them. So I wish they would have done that with this one, because then it would have probably been one of my favorite winter running shoes of all time. Even without the mid-top, I still feel like it's probably one of my favorite winter running shoes that I've ever run in. Now, let's talk about how it's held up though over the last 100 miles. I've told you how much fun I've had. Let's see how much of a beating that's inflicted on the materials that are here. As far as the upper goes, you could see that the upper is really salt crusted as I go through some of the different parts of the lakefront path, but everything else is holding up really well. There's no spots of wear that I'm aware of. There's no holes in it. So the materials have all held up really well. The neoprene tongue, the faux gator that's up here, all doing a fantastic job. It just looks a little bit discolored, and if I were to kind of try and keep this for another winter or to continue running with it, I'd probably spend a little bit more time making sure that I'm getting some of this salt off so that it's not like continually eating away at this upper material that's on here. But otherwise, so far, everything's been holding up great. For a Nike shoe, there seems to be a nice amount of room in the toe box. I'm feeling very comfortable in here. Again, true to size with this one, and I feel like that's absolutely right. Loving the amount of space, and the fit for this shoe overall has been really great. I'm really loving the way they've executed the React foam in this shoe, and it feels super fresh. It doesn't feel like a shoe that's got 100 miles on it. It feels like a shoe that's pretty much brand new, but that's the way that React foam is. It tends to last a really, really long time. Moving to the outsole, there's very little wear here at all, and probably a lot of that's because it's cold, so I'm not getting a lot of heat friction out there. But also I've been running on a lot of snow, so there's not a lot of friction generally that this shoe has had to deal with. Yes, there's some elements that it's had to deal with in terms of salt and some other very difficult, harsh conditions, but not a lot of wear going on, not a lot of wear that I'm seeing on the outsole. There's a tiny bit right at the normal spot that I get, kind of on the right outer portion of my right shoe. Only if you really look closely can you see it there. But anywhere else on the shoe, I can still see kind of the original groove patterns that are very faint on this outsole, the flat surface of the outsole lugs. And I really thought a lot more that would be gone, but everywhere else, I'm still seeing a very, very small, a minuscule amount of wear. So I feel like it's holding up extremely well for the miles that I've put into it. I'll probably be parting ways with this shoe after the 100-mile mark like I do with most of my shoes, but this is certainly a shoe that I can foresee for a lot of people. They're getting a couple of winters of use out of it, or they're using it for their winter running shoe, and then on through some of the nastier summer months, getting several hundred miles out of the shoe. I think it's going to be a super durable shoe. Everything's just holding up really well, lasting a very, very long time, and I'm super impressed with the Nike Pegasus Trail 2 with Gore Tex. So those are my thoughts on this shoe after 100 miles. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them there, or better yet, feel free to stop by the live stream that I do just about every day on YouTube, 3 p.m. Central. I'd love to talk to you there. That's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Hopefully you guys are staying safe and dry and warm out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?